The key wouldn't turn. At first I thought maybe the lock had jammed, but when I knocked, no one came. I called my wife's name once, twice, nothing. The police came because I told them I feared a break-in. They forced the door, told me to wait outside. 1 hour later, an officer stepped out, his face pale. "Sir, we're waiting for the paramedics. You shouldn't look. Please, don't cross the police line. It will shock you." I asked, "What happened?" His jaw clenched. "Your wife and your dad, they're—" He didn't finish. He didn't need to. You don't notice the first crack in the glass until the whole pane shatters. For me, that crack was subtle. A pause in her voice when she answered the phone. My father avoiding eye contact during Sunday dinners. We weren't the perfect family, but we were steady, or so I thought. My wife, Anna, had been my anchor through years of exhausting business travel. My father, Daniel, had been my role model, the man who taught me patience, precision, and the art of staying 2 steps ahead in business. I trusted them both, completely. It happened 6 months before that police tape night. I came home early from a trip, a flight cancellation. No one knew. The lights in the living room were dim, the TV on mute. Her perfume lingered in the air, but it wasn't fresh, it was heavy, like it had been there for hours. From the hallway, I saw shadows in the bedroom, 2 shapes, too close, too comfortable. I didn't burst in, I didn't shout. I stepped back into the dark and left without a sound. Because rage is loud, but revenge needs silence. The first thing I did was watch. Tiny cameras, hidden in the vents, the study, the corner of the bedroom. I recorded every meeting, every touch, every whispered, "We'll tell him soon." Then came the accounts. My father's company had investments with mine. My wife had joint property rights. I began moving assets, legally, quietly, reassigning ownership, transferring shares to an offshore trust in my name only. I erased myself from their lives financially while still smiling at dinners, still sending my father business updates, still calling Anna every night when I was away. Months passed. I collected footage, phone logs, bank transfers between them. Yes, he paid her. My own father paying my wife like a mistress. I booked a long business trip to Dubai. The night before, I left the front door lock exactly as it was, but I had the spare changed while keeping my old key identical in appearance. Meaning, my key wouldn't work when I returned. Meaning, I'd have an excuse to call the police. Meaning, they would be caught in whatever state they chose to be in without me there. The police wouldn't let me in right away. They didn't know the cameras inside had already streamed the whole thing to my secure server. I watched from my phone, leaning against my car, the blue and red lights flashing on my face. They were in the living room this time. Too much wine. My father clutching his chest, my wife panicking, trying to call for help. She didn't know I'd switched her phone's emergency contacts, a cloned SIM card, a little trick I'd learned from a security consultant. She called 911, but it went nowhere. By the time the neighbor heard the commotion and called for real help, it was too late. My father was gone. She was crumpled on the couch, shaking. When they finally let me in, after the paramedics covered the bodies, she looked at me like I was a ghost. You're not supposed to be here," she whispered. "Neither was he," I said, nodding toward the sheet covering my father. Her face drained of color. She understood. The officers thought my stillness was shock. They didn't see the satisfaction behind my eyes. The police found no foul play. Heart attack, stress, alcohol. That's all the report said. My wife didn't go to jail, but she lost everything. Every property, every account. I'd already filed a divorce months before under a clause that voided her rights due to adultery, backed by the recordings. She left the city with a single suitcase. I heard she's living in a rented apartment now, working a job she hates. Closure. People think revenge means blood. it doesn't. It means balance. It means making the scales even so you can walk away lighter. My father's death? That was never part of the plan. But I didn't interfere either. The last thing Anna saw before I left the police station that night was me standing under the streetlight, calm, coat collar turned up against the wind. She mouthed, "Why?" I didn't answer. Some questions don't deserve closure. They say you can't choose your family. Maybe not, but you can choose how you leave them behind. And I did, without a single regret.